some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah, hope I get away with it. Oh, the doo-dah day.
Are those shooting stars?
What is it?
What are those?
Look up, everybody! Look up! Look up!
And that's how Starship ended.
Oh, I did not watch that. I did not know. That one kind of didn't make the reentry as well as some of the others have done.
Let's just say about 10 seconds after the tower caught the booster, it did that.
Well, at least Elon had the foresight to put really pretty fireworks inside the one that just self-destructed on the way down.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing, free of charge.
Yeah, that was they were I mean, you could see they're like, yeah, look, it caught the booster, and the one announcer's looking, going, we've lost telemetry from the booster.
Shaking your etch-a-sketch is not going to do anything to reboot the lost satellites.
Carl asked, is there any satellites? There were dummy satellites that they were going to try to deploy. So that's probably what a lot of that stuff was.
Explain to me what you mean by dummy satellites.
They were the same size and weight of the Starlinks.
Yeah, but
they were just going to spit them. But they were just
theatrical.
Yeah, they were just for looks.
Why the hell do you want to throw up space junk just for looks?
Well, they were designed to come down anyway.
Well, they're all designed to come down. It's just how long of a period of time.
Well, it wasn't even going to be an orbital flight, so they weren't at speed.
Oh, okay.
They just wanted to, test to see if the thing would work.
So they had the right weight, the right dimensions. They had everything ready to go for a test run with the stand-ins.
Yeah.
But something didn't go right with the rocket itself.
Yeah, the engine shut off one at a time. And, speculation is there was a new design for the feeder tubes,
Yeah.
the fuel lines,
Yeah.
that there may have been a problem with those.
Stop buying designs from Korea. And I
It
do
wasn't.
mean the North, not the South. The South would design better.
Yeah, dress rehearsal bombed. Yeah, most of the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh my God. Stephanie is probably having really bad PTSD right about now because of that.
There's Kiri.
Hey, Carrie.
I got a joke for Kiri.
Oh, God.
You ready, Dan?
No, but tell it anyway. I
What
can
do you
only
call
die
a,
once.
what do you call a javelin thrower with Parkinson's?
I could imagine several things, but you go ahead and tell me.
Shakespeare.
Reminds me of one of my dad's favorite jokes that usually wound up with me getting a sword fist to my sternum. Why? Because it's Joe Dog. That's why.
Why? Because you're here.
He looks up these things just so he can get into a competition with you, Kiri, because you obviously and Joe Dog own the same damn joke books from the 1930s, and you totally forget to look at the Betty Page pictures. You just read the jokes. I mean, seriously, guys, where's your sense of proportion? Any magazine that has pictures of Betty Page and you're reading the jokes? And it's a lot of wasted magazine there, even if it is only 5 pages thick. I may be as thick as 2 planks nailed together, but I know enough to look at the pretty girls.
Oh, I did get a new streaming service today. It was an offer I couldn't refuse. The Stars channel,
Yeah.
$25 for the year. Commercial free.
That's almost as good as indiecd.org, where you can get, for $40, you can get a web space for your wares for life. Or at least Joe's life, not Joe Doe, but Joe Bachman's life. And what you want to bet that it outlives Joe Bachman and Trelena and everybody that's on there now, because it is that good.
Yeah. Yeah, I did get to. One of the reasons I took it is if I paid for the movie that I watched, I'd have paid almost that. But now I've got other movies to watch. But I watched the chapter 4 of John Wick.
I bought the DVD at Dollar General for $1.
John Wick chapter 4?
Yeah.
Must be a bootleg.
No. Official Hollywood stuff. It's already come out. I've got all 4 of them, and I bought them all at Dollar General on sale for $1. Because apparently I'm the only gun nut in Georgia, if you can believe that.
Well, I mean, where I see, where you buy the digital copy, I mean, they're wanting like $19.98 for it.
Um,
Oh well, I got more movies to watch.
I mean, seriously, yeah. My wife keeps going, "Uh, do you ever watch anything on Netflix?" And I go, yeah, I do. Just because you don't doesn't mean I'm going to try and cut my losses. I will watch that. Yes, I watch stuff on Disney Plus. Not very much, but it's the only place I can see brand new Doctor Who right now, so
Yeah.
I'm paying the bill. Um, she's got subscriptions to things I've never heard of before, just because there's some British movie or some um, somebody that covers uh, British football. I'm going, I don't try and tell you to stop paying that bill because I'm too cheap to pay it. So please allow me to have my guilty pleasures here. I'm waiting on a couple of Netflix premieres that have been in promotion for a couple of years now. They're not finished yet, but they will be soon. And it's like, ooh, yeah, I want to see that one because the first one was really good. And like I said, Disney Plus. The reason I signed up for it was so she could watch that
The
Beatles
Beatles.
retrospective thing, and I'm going, well, good. I can get this now. I can rewatch Doctor Who that I haven't got copies of yet, which is only like 5 of the most recent episodes I don't have copies of yet. Um, but I will. I will. Um,
I
my
sort of
pirate,
hoping Zach would be in here since you're talking about the Doctor Who.
yeah,
Did you see what Stephanie posted yesterday with the Parker Solar Probe?
probably not. No, I mean, I only look
They,
at Facebook to wish people happy birthday
uh,
and make sure that my kids are all right, and then I shut it off because I don't want to get triggered by stupidity.
yeah.
But Stephanie is
Well,
far from stupid.
the Parker Solar Probe made the closest pass through, and they did something with whatever and could get some audio out of whatever they
Oh,
did, and you could hear the sounds like the TARDIS.
yeah,
Sounded like the
and
TARDIS flew by.
it's basically just what the sun would sound like if you would live long enough to hear it with your own ears.
Yeah.
Uh that does.
Gentlemen,
I'm gonna have to look that one up. Yeah.
Joe,
Uh,
you're going to have to watch the replay now because I told some good jokes.
that's all
no,
more
he
reason
didn't.
not to watch it.
No, he didn't. He did not tell any good jokes. He told jokes, didn't say they were good. Uh, oh God,
Well, I didn't.
I gotta trim this. I'm beginning to look like Santa Claus in the off season.
uh,
Uh,
I'm thinking about just shaving all this off tomorrow morning.
it's your life.
Yeah. But I did tell Dan a good one before the show. I figured out where squirrels go during tornadoes
Where
all over the place.
I restarted my computer to fix my camera.
Now you're
Because
wondering why.
and had the
Uh,
camera not worked, I was just going to move over to my Mac and see if I could get in that on there. Oh,
why would you mistreat a Mac like that?
I don't know. Where did I go
I mean,
wrong in life?
I I'm really not a Mac fanatic. I use iPads. I've never bought an iPhone. I've never owned a Mac computer, but I have nothing against them except the fact they charge an extra $1,000 just for the damn label. Um,
Oh, you've heard about the iPhone 15? Somebody cracked one open, to see what was inside it.
Mm-hmm.
The camera, the processor, and the battery are made by Samsung.
Mm-hmm.
it's basically a Nokia with somebody else's name on the front. Uh,
Yeah, Samsung's produced stuff for Apple for years. That's nothing new.
Yeah.
Because Samsung tried saying when Apple switched from them for someone else for a little bit, they tried saying that Apple stole a bunch of their ideas.
Proprietary stuff.
Yeah, it's like, well, they didn't exactly steal it. You were putting it in their damn phones.
we can't steal what you handed over to us.
Pretty
Uh,
much.
If you didn't want somebody to use it, you probably could have left it on your own damn website and made people download it themselves rather than make it standard in a phone built by somebody else to have your name stamped on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I've got a Kia. I don't know if it was built in Korea or Japan. Doesn't matter. Might have been built in Texas for all I know. It's a damn good van for what it is. Of course, the fact that it's got 300 horsepower, I'm not going to downgrade it any at all. Fucker will scream. You go down the road and you're playing Magic Carpet Ride, and other people's car windows burst as you drive by. Ah, oh, Lord. I did that here, and I made the mistake of turning up the stereo too far, and all of a sudden I had books and a speaker cabinet fall off the wall into the floor. I'm going, yeah, Steppenwolf still got it. Uh, damn straight. I love the 60s. Of course, that means I've got to rebuild the damn shell so nothing falls off anymore. But Radio Shack is not junk. Carl, Radio Shack is not junk. It might be cheap, but it ain't junk. It's good junk. I wish I still had in the box 2 more of those 6-channel realistic mixing boards that I had not fucked up by plugging a bass guitar into one channel and ruining that channel forever. But that was my studio mixing board, was 2 6-channel realistic mixing boards slaved together, running into a reel-to-reel tape recorder, running into several cassette recorders. And when you listen to my albums, that's what you're hearing is Radio Shack equipment.
You didn't try to copy the Boston sound, did you?
Didn't have to. I predated them by 50 years.
I was watching something about it, and Tom Scholes showed what he did. He had like a 24-channel mixing board.
Uh-huh.
The reason the guitar sound is so unique to them is he recorded the guitar. He played it 24 different times. And then later layered them all on top of each other.
And then ported that to one single channel.
Yeah. The bass was all the bass was done the same way. All the Hammond B3, all the piano.
Some of the stuff that Joey plays on Burning His Yarn and Behind the Code, some of that is me doing exactly that. Using Radio Shack equipment and different reel-to-reel tape recorders that I bought at pawn shops. I mean, there was a time when I went all Robert Fripp, and I had a tape loop going through 4 different reel-to-reel recorders. One of them set to record, and the other 3 spaced out at different distances set to play back. So it was a variable stream of infinite repeat.
Yeah. Of course,
There's
now they
even
do it. Of course,
Yeah,
it's
now they do it
all
digitally. Yeah.
loop pedals.
I was doing it Robert Fripp way with a wall of reel-to-reel tape recorders. And there's even I do have at least 2 tracks that I've never released. I'm actually playing a violin. Let's just say that Thessaly would not be impressed by my violin skills.
Hey, do you know the difference between a violin and a fiddle?
$20 or 20,000?
How fast you play it?
Oh no, it's more like how much you get paid for playing it.
Yeah.
Kiri, I'm not even going to put that one on the screen. Shame on you. I mean, you buy them books, you send them to school, and this is what you get back in return. Teenagers. I mean, seriously, I'm raising too many damn teenagers right now. The dog's a fucking teenager.
I'm looking forward to next week.
Next week it's going to be damn cold.
I actually bought a magazine subscription for a year.
I'm waiting for the punchline.
And it's going to bring back some great memories. They still print the Reader's Digest.
Well, of course they do. It's for sale at the grocery store in the checkout line. They've never stopped printing Reader's Digest. Do they still do the Reader's Digest condensed books, though?
I don't know.
Because some of those are really worth having. I've got about 15 or 20, most of which I inherited from my parents. They don't know that I've inherited them already because Mom wasn't looking, and I put them in a box and took them home. It's books, Mom. It's books. It's mine. Sharon's not going to want them.
That's something kids don't understand today when you say, just give me the Reader's Digest condensed version.
Yeah, you're leaving out all the
useless information.
Well, might not have been all that useless, but just give me the stuff that I wouldn't have to read in the bathroom with the door locked. while nobody else was home.
Those magazines usually have pictures, Dan. I don't think Reader's Digest has pictures.
No, but the military humor is always great.
Yeah. Well, look,
Humor in uniform. That's what it was called.
humor in
Yeah.
uniform. Yeah. The lighter side, things like that.
That's one of the reasons I was getting it. I got it because I love those little short stories.
And Kiri jokes, and there were a couple of world famous comedians that actually got their start sending stuff to Reader's Digest for the humor pages.
Yep.
I think Jeff Foxworthy may have been one. Uh, 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 oh, I can't remember the name. Guy from Tennessee. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. He's not
Henry
with us
Cho.
anymore.
Oh, not with us anymore. Oh.
Yeah. Oh well. The mind is the first thing to go, folks, which is, one of those things that they always tell you, but it never sinks in. And as they always say, the mind is the first thing to go, folks. And then, it never sinks in, and then the mind is the first thing to go. You can tell who's the oldest person in the room because I keep talking to myself because I want to have an intelligent conversation with somebody.
Yeah, well, leave me out. That leaves me out.
Well, it kind of leaves out most of the people that I live around too. Don't tell them I said that, but I think I just got recorded saying that. So, matter of public record now. Georgia's a great place to be from. As far away from as you can get.
Well, Dan, they're talking on weather. You may get some more snow next week.
Starting
Middle
Monday,
of-
it's going to
middle
be
of-
positively Baltic down here.
Yeah.
I mean, even if we don't get any snow, it's going to be frostbite weather just going to the mailbox and back.
Yeah, it reminded me I wanted to look at the weather forecast for Monday because I talked to the contractor already and asked if they were working because Monday's a holiday.
Yeah.
And I was kind of hoping for, basically double time all day because
Holiday pay.
Yep. 8 hours of straight
You got to
time.
work whether it's a holiday or not. Yeah.
Well, if they're not working on the job site, then we'll just do the holiday time. But if they're working on the job site, then we get the holiday pay and whatever hours we bill.
Double time and a half.
Nah, it'd just be double time.
You're getting gypped. You need a better union. Talk to the Teamsters. They will work with you.
Oh, where I used to work, they came up with this great rule that before you could start earning overtime, you had to have 40 hours on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning if like you took off a day and then a big snow hit, the 8 hours you weren't there
Didn't count.
didn't count.
It's the way the state was when I worked for the state.
You
But
also need a better union. I mean, seriously,
Well,
I got
learned.
holiday pay for holidays I didn't even work.
Yeah, well,
If I got called in, it was time and a half plus another time and a half for the 8 hours during that 12-hour workday.
what they were doing is All right, say big snow hit, and you know everybody came in, they worked and all that.
Mm-hmm.
They would then knock everybody off early to beat them out of the overtime.
That sounds like what my second wife went through at the grocery store when she was a stalker.
Well, what
Not a
happened is,
stalker, a stalker.
yeah,
Um,
we
they
had a
wouldn't.
snow on Christmas Day here like 12, 14 years ago. They called everybody in. You know who showed up?
You?
None of us.
You knocked us out of the extra pay. Why should we come in?
Yeah.
That's like the first convention I ever went to was a little bitty comic convention in Atlanta, and it snowed, and it froze over after the snowfall. And the factory, knowing I'm on vacation, a scheduled vacation, called my mom and said, he needs to come in. We need him now. There's nobody here. And mom called me. This was even in the days before cell phones. She had to find a working landline between
And Joe's
there and
camera just
Atlanta.
died on him.
Yeah, I saw it just flash over to white. What the
It's
hell is this
probably because
camera
of
doing?
Carrie's jokes. Um,
Oh, let's see.
but no, they wanted me to drive from Atlanta
To Athens and
to Athens, 90 miles in a foot thick ice on Highway 85, basically heading towards North Carolina, which made it a whole lot worse as you got further north.
That's not it.
And just to be a warm body standing around and doing nothing. And I said, no, I scheduled this vacation. You've already paid me for
Damn
the
it, I can't
days
find the hole.
I'm not going to be there. I'm
Right.
not risking my life to drive to the factory just so you can have a head count that will satisfy the people that you work for.
well, it got so bad at work that they instituted a new policy. Before it used to be, if you answered the phone, you had to go in. Well, people quit answering the phone.
Hmm.
Then they said, if we leave a voicemail,
Welcome to the reason I don't have voicemail set up on my cell phone.
yeah,
But they demanded that I kept the landline and the answering machine just so they could call me in. And I'm going, you can call, but if there's 2 flakes of snow in my driveway, I'm going to do like everybody else. I'm going to call in and go, I can't leave the house. It ain't safe. I can't drive down the road. It ain't safe. I don't care if the supervisors can make it. Their salary, they have to be there.
well, I fixed them one time. They said, if you can't come in, call us. We'll send somebody to come get you. And remember, I live on a hill. It's a one-way street.
If you can get up here,
Oh, they got up there. The next morning, I called them. I said, it's iced over worse than it was yesterday. Don't worry about it. George ain't coming up to get you. He said he'd never do that again.
well, I mean, seriously, it's it's not fun doing a ski jump in a pickup truck, or a dump truck for that matter. Although cutting donuts in a dump truck in a high school parking lot with basketball goals, that was a lot of fun. I'm glad nobody ever found out it was me. Uh, although I probably would have got extra points with the folks that thought I was kind of nerdy and uncool. If they'd known I'd actually taken a dump truck over there and cut donuts in the basketball court.
There was a video on YouTube. This guy goes, it snowed, and he says, "Well, I'm headed." He was our age, Dan, and he says,
Hooked up the horse and buggy.
"No, he got his truck out and he headed out, went over by the high school to watch the kids cut donuts, and they saw him. It's like, oh hell, old man's here. He's gonna call the cops on us, whatever." So they all pulled up and they got out and started, throwing snowballs at each other. He had a club cab dually diesel with chrome everywhere. The stack pipes coming out the bed, 4-wheel drive. He goes, "I've ruined these kids' days. Let's show them what an old man can do." And he gets out and he's got it in 4-low cutting donuts with all 6 tires spinning. And the kids are like, "Hell, it's a cool old man." They got out and they started.
Really? Old man ain't as bad as we thought. Jeez.
They also said, if you want to teach your kid how to drive in the snow, take them to a big empty parking lot and turn them loose.
Yep. I'm
There he
very
is.
Yep. I'm very lucky that instead of a parking lot, we had dirt roads and we had lots of fields where we had baled hay. And Dad said, "Look, you mess up the clutch in the truck, I'm going to be pissed, but I'm not going to take it out of your allowance. Learn to drive because I need you. You're a farm crew now. We live on a farm. This is what we do." And he just went, "I taught you how to drive on a road. Now let's see what you can do off of one." And everything except Tara's jumping in a Jeep is pretty much what I had to do with a 1967 GMC pickup truck 3 on the tree.
There was one guy. I mean, you could tell they were a farming family. He's, got the GoPro set up on the driver's seat. Kid probably ain't 6 years old. He, has the kid, sitting next to him. He says, "You ready?" He goes, "Yeah." He cranks it up, puts it in low, lets the clutch out, gets it rolling, drags the kid over, says, "Grab the wheel." He climbs up in the back of the truck to start throwing hay out for the cattle. He said, "Just steer it where I tell you. To your left, to your left. No, the other left, the other left."
Oh.
And I thought, that's pretty much farming life right there.
Hey, this is what created some of the greatest NASCAR drivers that ever lived. Was out in a field with their daddy going, "No, your other left."
Oh.
While work was going on in the background. Yeah, my little brother, Daddy had him up on the tractor when he was so young. In order to hit the clutch or the brakes, he had to get out of the seat and stand up with his foot on the clutch and his other foot on the brake and gripping hold of the steering wheel so hard that he actually bent the prongs of the steering wheel so it stuck up about an inch further than it ever did before. And I'm going, yeah, that's you're one of us. Uh, oh God, my sister
Uh,
actually learned to cook so she could get out of doing farm work because she had to make lunch. And we always complain, you only make exactly enough food for the people that are working. You don't make any seconds. You don't make any extras. And there's Zach.
there is Zach. I ran your video, Zach. You're muted.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, look up, look up. Boy, that's pretty. Damn.
Yeah.
No,
Oops.
it's pretty, but it's not fortunate.
Oops.
Yeah. I was telling Dan, the girl was just all excited and all that, and the other guy next to her, like, slapping the side of the computer, going, come on, come on.
Yeah, it was not a great day for Starship. Good day for Super Heavy, but not a great day for Starship.
Well, you can't have everything all in one day.
Yeah.
Why?
Hey,
The
Blue
space
Origin-
industry thinks I can.
Blue
Well,
Origin lost the booster
one-
on landing.
one day everything will work. And they better have cameras running because that may be the only day that everything works.
So you're talking about Blue Origin's first flight where they actually made it to orbit the first time.
Yeah.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
They didn't land their booster, but they made it to orbit and they completed their whole demo mission. First try.
And then what?
Yeah, but how many times did they try?
Technically, once.
I thought it was more like 750, but nobody was counting until the second time.
They didn't count it till the engines lit. And
Well, those were wet dress rehearsals.
hey, Dan, there's nothing like watching the countdown clock get down to like 6 minutes and all of a sudden 35 minutes. I'm going like, damn it.
It did it 7 times.
I could have been in bed by now.
I know some people that went to bed, got up, and we were still in the countdown.
Still on hold. Yeah. I remember Mercury and Gemini and Apollo stuff like that, where you're in this ungodly long hold for no reason a preteen could understand. I'm going,
Yep.
just light the damn fuse already so I can go to bed. No, get up the next morning. They're still waiting on something.
Well, that was like last night with New Glenn, or I guess technically this morning. I was talking with people at Blue, not with Mission Control, but at Blue. And they were like, okay, we're at the point. If we call hold, it's because there's an anomaly or there's like a red line failure. Like we're green across the board. If we hold at this point, something broke. And I say that on stream, and I said, "Oh, it'd be really, we're here's hoping we don't have like a cruise ship just sails into range."
What happens? Yeah. A cruise ship sails into range.
We don't know what type of boat it was, but 2 minutes later, hold. For what? Boat in range. Son of a. Then what happens? We go from T-minus 4 minutes to T-minus 39. Because they have to recycle that far back and then run the count again. And I was like, just go. The best part is on X, there was a meme that the captain of the ship was Elon, and that started going viral. And I have confirmation it was also going viral within the internal staff chat of all of Blue Origin in every one of their campuses. That they were all internally laughing, but couldn't publicly say, like, oh, he would do that, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would, and
But
he'd be playing the Beastie Boys through every loudspeaker the entire time.
Well, I will hand it to Elon. He did post out, "Congratulations, Jeff, for reaching orbit on your first attempt." And he did it a couple of times.
He said good luck before both attempts.
Yeah.
And then he said congratulations a couple of times. And then Jeff said good luck today on Starship. So it's interesting seeing a pivot in Bezos on what's going on. But apparently he is also now sitting with Elon at the inauguration. So I think there's a bigger friendship that has been grown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, Nazis tend to stick together. Did I say that?
Well, I will say this. Elon, a lot of people didn't get their Cybertrucks because Elon rolled them to California with Starlinks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And set up mobile Wi-Fi stations through all of the burned out area.
That was a very charitable thing to do. Yes.
Yeah, they canceled all Cybertruck deliveries in California for 2 weeks and rolled them all out, and then they're going to make new Cybertrucks, it sounds like, for those people.
That does not sound like a bad thing to me, actually.
No. And anyone that has Starlink gets it free. Well, they did it free for a month. We're assuming that'll get extended.
It's extended out till March now.
Is it till March? Okay, they did the same thing down here with Hurricane Milton. We had it with Helene. We had like 4 or 5 months free coverage if you were in
that's not just publicity stunt. That's a humanitarian gesture, and that does show that even though he keeps it in a jar by the door, Elon does have a heart.
Yeah.
Not be the heart of Robert Bloch, but
now he sent stuff to North Carolina.
Yeah,
Starlinks, North Carolina, and then the North Carolina bunch commandeered them.
Yeah,
and 2 of them got activated at somebody's house, who was a elected official.
Yep.
Oh, that's not a good idea.
No, they weren't very smart, realizing that Starlink has trackers and can tell where you connect onto it.
Yeah, but those Starlink routers will not work again until they go back through Starlink.
No,
they got shut off because violation of terms and conditions.
Well, they did that for a while with people that were using the V2s and were driving, because people realized that if you went under 50 miles per hour, you could use the V2 Starlink on your car. So they started, and it was in terms and conditions that you're not allowed to use it for moving. So if you did that, they locked your thing and canceled your subscription. Now they just include movement in everyone's subscription because they're like, oh, we can do that? Cool. Let's make that a permanent feature. But early on, it wasn't supposed to be, it wasn't a public feature yet.
It wasn't.
I actually got a survey from them.
It was a feature, a very heavily disguised feature, but a feature nonetheless. There's a guy on the Unsubscribe podcast that actually he bought himself a Cybertruck, opened up the bed so it was freely accessible for somebody to stand in it, and mounted a 50 caliber machine gun in it, and it works.
America.
I would not want to be in the bed of that truck when either it was going or said 50 caliber machine gun was being operated by someone that's even more of a redneck than I am, which is kind of hard to wrap my brain around because there's not that many people that are more redneck than I am. But anything's physically possible. But seriously, I got a brand new pickup truck. I'm not putting a 50 cal in it unless it's pointing backwards at police cars. No, and it would be remote controlled from inside. It wouldn't be, I'd have to be standing there. Yes, that's admissible evidence, but I don't have a 50 cal. Anything.
You play too much GTA, Dan.
Hmm?
You play too much GTA.
What the fuck is GTA?
Grand Theft Auto 5. Just say yes.
Dude, I have not played a video game since Doom 2 was brand new.
Isn't that the thing you can play on like a pregnancy test and whatnot?
I don't have
It's
the faintest
original
idea.
Doom. And they just figured out how to play it on a PDF file now.
I don't play video games.
On a PDF file?
Yep.
How?
I don't know. Someone's got way too much damn time on their hands.
I mean, a pregnancy test at least has a screen. It's very small, but it's a screen. But
I don't play any video games whatsoever. I think I was 25 when I hadn't even been married the first time when I gave up video games, going, this is a waste of time. I really need to sit down and write books. Which I'm also not that damn successful at, but seriously, I keep trying.
Dan,
one of these, yes.
Have you ever seen the Starlink router?
Which one?
Well, pretty much every one of them.
I've seen the antennas on several people's boats, but I've never seen the router itself.
There is an Easter egg on the router, and you will recognize it.
Oh no!
Do you see what it is?
Well, my wife is going to ask me why the fuck I laughed that loud during the middle of the show, but I see what it is. Now, do I understand what it is? That's a different question.
What do you think it is?
I think it's a target. Actually, I think it's a chart of the moon's orbit around the Earth, showing eclipse positions as to whether or not it's a new moon or a
I'm trying to zoom it in, but
you're not far off.
You're not far off.
It does involve planets, but it involves multiple planets.
Oh, okay. So it's a solar system represented.
It's the Mars. It's the Mars transfer.
The Holman transfer orbit.
Oh, fuck. I should actually even know the math for that. Hey,
that's on every Starlink.
Research is a thing. When you write science fiction, you learn this stuff that you'll never use in real life, but it's there, indelibly imprinted on the back of your mind.
Well, and it's interesting because they're starting to do the studying for Mars Link, which is taking Starlink and doing a constellation around Mars, and Moonlink doing a constellation around the moon. My question is, why is it called Starlink then? Shouldn't it just be Starlink everywhere, or Earthlink?
Earthlink
probably once they get Lunar and Mars, it may become Earthlink.
Maybe.
Well, and I think they would actually have to buy out Earthlink. I think they are technically still around as a dial-up ISP.
Ooh,
that could be
yeah,
right.
you're right. I'd forgotten they existed. But no, yeah. But it would take what is it, 70,000 years to get to the closest star that is 4.3 light years away and may not have any planets that we want to look at anyway. But then again, may have.
If the nuclear engine works this year or next year, might be faster.
30
30 days. 30 days to Mars instead of 6 months.
You're not going to get interstellar speeds with anything like that. I'm sorry. It's going to be real fast. It's going to be real good for inside the solar system, but going to another solar system, light years are called that for a reason. It takes fucking years for light to get there.
And
you've
Zach,
got
I
to go
posted
faster than that, and there's no way we can do that yet because that would involve technology that has not been invented yet and physics that not even Einstein was able to write.
My brain hurts watching them play Dune on a PDF. I love watching them. I love watching them type the command.
Oh, hello, my loveliest Canadian woman I know. She's so nice. Sorry, Zach, but Willow is Willow.
Willow is prettier, Zach. We're sorry.
You're a nice boy, but Willow is Willow.
And I think I used to have a computer with graphics about like that.
Probably used to have a pocket watch with graphics like that. I did have one of those little calculator Casio watches, but you couldn't play any games on it because I was too busy using it as a calculator. I figured out a very, very complicated algebra problem using a Casio wristwatch calculator. And I couldn't get promoted for it, but management stole the handwritten long form what the calculation was and sent it to every other factory that they had going, this is the way. This redneck figured out how to do what all of you executives are too stupid to do. Calculate how much of this you're going to need for an entire day.
I don't know. I want to click that, Joe Dog.
No, somebody claims Starship had a hole in it during launch.
It had a flap flapping around. Who? What? It's not real. Okay, what they're talking.
I'm not clicking on anything Joe Dog posts. I'm sorry.
So, I'll do it. It is safe.
No, it's not. It's Joe Dog. It's not safe. It may be benign, but it's not safe.
So this is one of our cameras. And I was just bringing up this this is after the landing. Just watch the booster. This surprised me how much it moved because I don't remember this from last time. Look at the sway of that 20-story building. You don't really see it in the moment, but if I do this, woo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I feel like that shouldn't wiggle as much as it does for that long.
Oh, that's what they get for Elon playing David Bowie in the background as it's landing. I mean, Let's Dance is not the right song for this.
But it was so clean. So there's when the sonic boom hit, and then this is when John started jumping. But yeah, all the birds are like, "We're getting out of here again,
Again.
second time today."
Willow, I don't know about the astronauts. I really don't. They could have been home already if people weren't interested more in publicity stunts.
No, they're coming home in March.
Yeah.
So what they did is rather than sending up another craft and screwing the schedule for the next decade, they just didn't send 2 astronauts up in, what was it, September, October?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. So they only sent 2 instead of 4, and then the 2 that are up there just stayed for the 6 months, and then they'll all come together. So they've been fine since September, October.
Yeah.
They're not stuck.
But
No
there
matter
was,
what the media would like to say.
There was a capsule on the pad that could have gone, got them, and brought them home. But NASA said no.
Yeah, NASA said we'll just leave them up. And unfortunately, NASA still runs off of military protocol, which is the astronauts don't get a say.
Yeah.
Where did I park my Jupiter 2?
So on the left side of your screen, where my mouse is, this is what people are talking about. There's this little thing here that's not perfectly attached. And there goes the booster, and it goes, bye-bye.
See you later. Or not.
I guess it's before that where... Oh, there we go. See, yeah, we're a little floppy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not enough Gorilla Glue.
Yeah. So, and then here it's not moving again. So, like, it only flapped for a little bit, but there was a flap.
More duct tape.
But that's on the ship. But that's quite high on the ship. The other issue
I don't care. They have ladders. You can put duct tape anywhere.
I still can't believe they show this. That used to just the internals. Like that is there's a lot of information you could reverse engineer there on how their fuel systems work.
That is actually some magnificent plumbing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously, that impresses even the redneck farm boy. That's some seriously good plumbing. Oh Lord. I can imagine so many different applications for that arrangement of pipes.
And what's insane is they just jettison that and get rid of it. Where is it? There it is. Bye.
Yeah. They'll make more.
So they separate the ship, and then this is after the hot stage.
Yeah, that's after the hot
top
stage.
of the booster. There's the hot stage going bye. Thanks for your job. And then there's all the ice. And then that piece on the ship looks fine. And then someone pointed out here, and you don't see it super well on, is it on this shot? I'm trying to find it. It was after the booster catch. Oh, this was an interesting shot. You can really see the swaying there. So that booster's just sitting on this little peg. That peg's not in anything. That peg's just sitting on the edge, and there's only 2.
Close to the
So if those chopsticks loosened,
it would fall down.
Yeah. There we go. This one. Do you see anything in the hinge?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fire somehow in the flap where there is no fuel.
Oh.
That is hydrogen and oxygen going.
There is no hydrogen. There is no hydrogen. It's
atmospheric hydrogen and helium going, hey, nice to meet you.
So someone pointed this out.
Let's make some water.
Here, I saw a timeline on this. SpaceX hasn't really confirmed it. But if you watch the dots are the engines. So there we just lost one of the center engines. Yeah. Now, if you watch the fuel, so the LOX and the CH4, One of them is going to stop moving, and the other starts to move, apparently. And then, so we see the fire in the flap. And then I believe they might not have it in this video. He might have cut it out. There we go. So now the fuels are no longer aligned. And the CH4 is dropping relatively quickly in comparison. And we lost another engine now. And they're all still talking about the booster. And this guy ended his video. So that's very helpful. Let me go get the actual video. Full flight.
That's a tall boy there.
There. So we lost. Where is it? We lost. There we go. So we lost a center and a left. And now that CH4 is plummeting. And then we're going to lose the top right.
Well, the LOX is
there goes the top right. And the CH4 is continuing to plummet, but the LOX isn't.
Ooh.
And then now we've lost another center. And the CH4 is really plummeting now. And now we've lost data. And that's where it froze until they took it off screen. So it was we're very confused about what it is. Elon put out a statement saying primary indication is that we had an oxygen fuel leak in the cavity above the ship's engine firewall that was large enough to build pressure in the excess of the vent capacity. Apart from oblivious double checking for leaks, we'll add fire suppression to that volume and probably increase vent area. Nothing far suggests pushing launch past next month. SpaceX literally put out a statement 2 minutes before I left saying the ship and the booster for the next flight are ready.
Yeah.
They just have to do pre-launch static fires and they're ready to go.
Yeah.
So this is all on the FAA now because of that video, the videos that have come in. SpaceX is saying the debris field was within the hazard zone. The problem is with that statement, Turks and Caicos isn't in the hazard zone. So there's a misconnection on... Now you can obviously see that this thing's at 146 kilometers when it broke up. You're going to see that for a very long distance. So it's hard to see that, but there's people that it was passing directly overhead. So the thought is the ship might have rolled and actually started to turn when it lost engines, and maybe in the end did actually divert a little bit. SpaceX obviously has more data than we do. The FAA says they're looking into it and will release a statement when they've made a determination if they need an investigation. Now, part of the license was that failure during re-entry of Starship would not trigger an investigation. The question is this re-entry technically? Because it's not re-entry at the Indian Ocean.
It wasn't where they planned to re-enter, but it did re-enter. It might not have been in one piece, but it did re-enter.
Well,
well, you done pulled it off. How the guy with the beer was like, damn the booster. Where's the ship?
Oh yeah, that was the last flight. Everyone was like, the booster exploded, but don't worry, we have a ship. I do not know where this photo is from. I do not know who got it, but this photo went around on the internet this morning or yesterday. We don't know what flight this is from. This could have been from Flight 1 or it could have been from Flight 6.
If the sound includes Wile E. Coyote screaming, I'm going to be really upset with you.
You want to pull that up, Jordan? That is inside Starship during re-entry.
That does not look all that copacetic.
Where did that leak from?
We don't know, but it was on X yesterday or this morning. I can't remember. But we know it's Starship because we can see the COPVs. Yeah. It's Starship up by one of the points.
That was, which one did the flap melt off of?
6, 4, 5, 4 and 5. Because those are the flat points.
Yeah,
it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would make sense out of the design. The fact that everything is on freaking fire does not make any sense, but it's a rocket. These things happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So interesting picture that came in.
Well, Elon said at one time that, oh yeah, we had cameras inside and there was a lot of burn through. You remember that?
Yeah. I think that was Flight 4, the first one that made it all the way. That had Flappy McFlappy face.
Yeah.
A lot of burn. Can you see that burn through? I mean, seriously, that sucker got a little bit warmer than most ovens can get.
Well, that was the first time that they ever did re-entry at orbital velocity.
Well, you know,
with Starship, they've obviously
practice makes perfect, but I'm not buying a ticket anytime soon.
No.
Seriously, well, me buying a ticket wouldn't do anything. I might not live long enough for a working one to actually go up and come back safely. I'm almost 70. I mean, seriously.
Well, I'll tell you, this flight was a step backwards.
Big one.
I mean, they were planning on going for a catch next time.
Yeah.
Okay, you got some explaining to do, Lucy. What do you mean it was a step backwards? Because it was unsuccessful because everything broke up on an unplanned re-entry, or because they learned new stuff they needed to know because nothing had ever gone wrong that way before.
Oh, well, the second flight did the same thing. Just not as spectacularly.
Spectacular is not a measurement of failure or success. The only true measurement is what can we learn from this to keep it from happening again.
That's the deal. That's the step backwards.
Well, and that's where there's the big question of ship and booster are already built and ready. They just need to be static. The only thing left for Flight 8 is to wet dress rehearsal the full static. They need to static fire the booster, static fire the ship, and they need a full stack the thing and fuel the whole thing and then detank it. And then they're ready to go, which the pad right now looks like it's in perfect condition. So, like, theoretically, they could go next week if they wanted to. Obviously, FAA has to do stuff, but if the ship and booster are already built, I don't expect them to be making a ton of changes physically.
And theoretically, I could drive my Kia van to Mars, except for the fact there is no road.
You just need a super
there
heavy
are no
booster.
gas stations.
Tesla did it. They didn't have a charge.
It's not an electric car.
This ship had a lot of new internals.
It was completely new.
I see.
It was almost a completely new avionics system.
Well, you know, these things have to be tested until the point that they fail, so that you find out where they fail and why they fail, and then over-engineer them from that point forward. I do understand engineering. I can't do it, but I understand it.
That's the difference between SpaceX and all the other companies. All the other companies go, well, we can't screw up. We can't screw up. We got to do, we simulate and test. We can't screw up.
If you don't screw up, you're never going to know what you did wrong.
SpaceX goes at it like, well, shit, that didn't work.
Uh, it's like building a barn. You don't know which nail is the one that holds everything together, but you know if you pull that one out, the whole damn thing falls down. But you only find out after you put it all together.
I'm just sad that we didn't get this view again, because this was pretty cool. That's a Starlink, and yes, that is rope bungeeing to a raft in the middle of the Indian Ocean. And that Starlink is sending a live stream. And oh, there's Starship.
And they're running away from it as fast as they can possibly go.
There's nobody on it.
On the raft?
Yeah, they just threw it out in the ocean where they hoped they were gonna land, and then there's nobody even near this thing. Like, they're not 5 miles or 10 miles away. They're like at land.
And for some reason, they had a drone on top of that rocket before it sunk.
Yep. So when that rocket went down and then flattened onto the water, they had a drone hover over top of it. So there must have been a drone on this barge or raft. They wish it was a barge.
Just a rubber raft.
It looks like an emergency raft off an airplane.
It's a lifeboat, yeah. I can't help thinking that somebody ought to have known when something that has been heated up that much drops into a cold ocean. It's not likely to last longer than a beer mug in a bar fight in a Patrick Swayze movie. Seriously?
Yeah, a lot of people are looking at this one being like, she looks a little worn down. She looks a little beat up.
Well, I mean, the fact that they're not clean lines anymore, there are humps and curves in there that weren't there when it took off. Shit's melted.
Well, they melted the grid fins last flight. I don't remember seeing anyone say that this time. But last time when they did the stage separation and they ignited the ship's engines, the fire shot down on the grid fins, and you actually could see on the onboard camera the grid fins all start to warp and do like weird waffly shapes. Yet they caught that. Did they catch that one? Or is that the one they diverted?
That was the divert.
That was the divert. But they diverted because the rocket accidentally broke one of the cables and the tower on top of the tower fell over.
You're not building confidence here, Zach.
Legitimately, there's a little communication tower, and it has 4 support arms, and 2 of them broke, so the tower just went at a 45-degree angle. And because of that, the rocket didn't know where the center of the tower was, so the booster was like, I ain't coming home.
So
it went and killed itself in the ocean.
I'm staying at the university. Sorry. No Christmas presents for you.
Well, fiddle fart.
Yes, gentlemen, we have 10 minutes left. I've already got my show open, ready to go. Once again, I don't care if anybody shows up or not. If nobody shows up, I will monologue for 30 minutes and shut it down. I don't care.
Yeah.
Without y'all, it's no fun for me. So
I should actually be awake, so.
Well, so should I, but that's no guarantee that I will be. I've slept through my own show before for 5 or 6 hours. Aunt Donna must have fallen asleep. Carl, let Aunt Donna sleep. I mean, seriously, she works her ass off herding you around even more than the cats do. Just
But does she have a frying pan?
Aunt Donna, frying pan.
Joe Dog.
to,
One of
to,
these.
to quote the robot from Lost in Space, this does not compute. And Aunt Donna and frying pan do not go together unless she's actually bought one as an offensive weapon. She has an axe, I know that. And my God, I would not even dream. Yes, there's a very wise man right there. This is a reason the Rasputin beard goes really well with Uncle Carl. He knows which end of the. Let's just skip that particular metaphor, Daniel. You were about to go completely.
What have you got going here, Zach?
This picture's to give Dan even some more confidence. So if you see Turks and Caicos, and you see the Dominican, Starship's path was right through this gap of where all these aircraft are, except all these aircraft were also flying there because Starship was already at like 150, 200 kilometers. So the airspace had to issue an emergency alert and send all of these aircraft into spiral, like spins, emergency parking, because of the debris field that started to fall across that entire path area. And this Iberia one actually ended up circling for, I think it was the Iberia or was the World Flag, one of the two, flew from Spain. And I don't know, they didn't say anything, but I am assuming it did a lot of spirals and there was still a very clear line of like nobody flying in the area, but they were allowed to go land in Puerto Rico when all the other flights that were going to Puerto Rico were diverted to Florida, or there was another place they were diverted to. I think the Spain one didn't have the fuel to get to anywhere else that it could land.
Well, yeah, because it flew so many times in a spiral.
Yeah.
Well, Puerto Rico's a nice place to go. I mean, seriously.
I went to Dominican and liked it. For 12 hours. It wasn't even 12 hours, for like 6 hours. It's nice.
Well, I mean, seriously. Your average person from America could retire in Puerto Rico and live like a freaking millionaire for the rest of their life, which admittedly would, for your average retired person in the U.S., would be 20 to 30 years. But, I mean, good Lord. It's warm. The only thing you have to worry about is rain and the occasional hurricane. And if you've got storm shutters on your windows and a nice
Your
strong
house has an inflatable raft underneath of it.
we don't really worry about that, but as many tornadoes as I've lived through that have passed right over my house, I'm going, you get scared and then you take precautions and you make preparations and then you fall asleep in the middle of it, which you've seen me do, and then you wake up the next day going, well, world still exists. Everything's going to continue on that basis until the next time. I've actually been to Florida during a hurricane.
Oh, it's so much fun.
It's a bit exciting, like trying to ride a unicycle for the first time on a tightrope in the rain and
On a greased cable.
well, it's in Florida. You're looking out for alligators and natives. I mean, Florida man is a thing. They are not sane.
Yeah.
And believe me, you're lucky if the ones that show up that are coked out of their brains are the ones that show up instead of the ones that are out of their minds on really bad stuff.
Mhm.
Uh,
On a derivative of Sudafed.
That's the one. Yes, indeed. That is the reason why I can't have any decongestants that actually work on my sinuses. Is these morons in Florida make illegal drugs out of them, and I'm going, can I please just breathe? But no, I have to have a federal permit.
And we got to say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, folks.
I would
All right.
say I'd shut up now, but I've got to do my own damn show.
Yeah, go do your own damn show. Bye.
Oh, fuck off.
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand, and touched the face of God.